Can you imagine what it's going to be like one day when you are retired? Isn't it going to be awesome? There's no train to catch to get into town, to get to work. There's no email that you have to check 7 times a day to make sure everything is taken care of. It is going to be awesome. I have another question. What's it going to be like one day when you have time to spend with your spouse and with your children? What are they going to think when they have more time with you? I hope that's so exciting. It's extremely exciting to me. I know I'm young in my career, but I love walking through this journey. It's so fulfilling for myself to see individuals work hard at a career, plan for a comfortable and confident retirement, and then one lady that we just absolutely love, we can't even get her on the phone because she's out of the country the majority of the year. And I think that's so exciting. I enjoy her times in our office when she comes back and shares those stories with us. But I just want you to imagine that. I want you to paint that picture in your mind, because we're here to remove that fear. We want you to have those dreams.
So as we train thousands of people a year, we ask them over and over, what's your number one concern as you face retirement? And by far, the number one issue is having enough income to meet my standard of living when I retire. That's it. That's the number one issue. So we want to address that fear specifically. The first question out of most everyone's mouth is, how do I know if I have enough income? I don't know that much about my retirement and the planning around it, and I need some help. So first step, well, the question was around a deposit service issue in this case, a time in which maybe you've worked for the federal government, you didn't pay into the FERS or CSRS system, and so you didn't get credit for it. Well, do you know how that's going to work around your pension? You've got to know. You've got to know what those numbers are if you want to know what your bring-home income will be, and if it's going to be enough to support your standard of living, then those kind of issues have to be cleaned up. She got that deposit service cleaned up. It took about a year actually to get that fixed, and then all of a sudden, after working on a budget, look at that, she was able to actually accomplish that goal of saying, I know what my income is going to be in retirement. I've actually created a retirement budget, and get this, you ready? Lived on it before I retired. Write that down if you're taking notes. Live on a retirement budget before you retire, not after. And then that will take away that fear of having enough money. So you got to know how much you're going to have, and you got to know that you can live within those means before you can get rid of that fear. That's a lot of work. It has to happen. But when it does, and you can expect good results, you'll have enough money. You will be able to take trips, and you will be able to spend time with your family, your children, your grandchildren. Those things will come about. They will become a reality. How will they become a reality? Because you put the time and energy into figuring your income and your expenses. There's no shortcut to that function. It takes time and energy, and oftentimes for many people it takes some additional support to make sure all that happens right.
That's right. And if you're sitting there and you're thinking, there's no way that's me, Abby, you don't know my financial situation. There's no way that I'll ever be able to financially retire and be comfortable. I just want to take that fear away. Let me talk FERS for a minute. If you're a FERS federal employee, here's your typical income streams. You've got your federal pension, you've got your Social Security check, if you've been paying in, and then you've also got access to that TSP where you're getting that great match. So there's 3 potential sources of income for you. And what we see with good planning is individuals are able to maintain their same standard of living as long as they plan for it. So I just want you to know right now that there is a way that this can be you.
The second most common fear that we have to face when we talk to individuals is that fear of, I'm going to run out of my TSP and my savings when I retire. What a real concern that everyone should have. Am I going to run out? How is my money going to last? And we deal with people around a lot of times that day of retirement. retirement is one day, then you have 20 or 30 years after retirement to continue to live. So that TSP, you need to have a spending plan as it relates to your TSP or your savings that will allow you to successfully retire, spend some of that money, and not run out. Now, here's the hard part with this very issue. You have been an accumulator or a saver for decades now, and you've been a good trooper putting into that TSP. For you FERS, you've been getting that match, and that's been the way you have been living your life, and that's the right thing to do. And then all of a sudden, with retirement upon you, that paradigm is going to shift, and it's going to be abrupt. You're going to quit making money and saving money, and all of a sudden, you're going to need to spend some. And when that change happens, it's a shock to your system. I'm telling you now, prepare for that. Begin to think through the reality of it's okay to spend some of the TSP as long as I have a plan on how to spend it effectively and reduce that risk of running out too soon. That's the key. But you will move from being an accumulator to being a distributor at some point, and that's not all bad. So, so the question is, what about you? Do you know how you're going to use your TSP when you're in retirement? Let me show you an example just so you get a quick feel of how this could work. Assume you have a federal annuity of $3,500, Social Security of $1,500, so $5,000 a month of income, right? And then, but your current income today is $6,000, so you're $1,000 short in that monthly expense category. Aha, we found the problem, right? How do you cover that gap? Well, there's only 3 legs to your stool, right? All you have is your federal pension, Social Security, and TSP. What if TSP were $300,000? A 4% withdrawal rate is $12,000 a year or $1,000 a month. Oh, look, we closed the gap with a 4% withdrawal rate. Now, I'm not here today to recommend a 4% withdrawal rate. I'm not saying that's right or wrong for you. If you Google how much should I withdraw from my retirement account, you're going to find a wide range of numbers, but more often than not, you're going to see a 4% withdrawal rate brought about. So be careful, see if that number fits you. But if you could get this far along the path to say, I see how my 3 legs of my stool are going to work to create the income that I need to keep my standard of living, the #1 concern on the poll here today even, to keep my standard of living, then you can have your TSP, withdraw from it, and actually not run out. That's the goal. Let's make the next step. Our third retirement fear we're going to address today is, what am I going to do with my life when I retire? We've had people tell us, I don't have anything to do. The trading the known for the unknown. Are you willing to walk away from the world that you know, your peers, your co-workers, the hours you know you're going to get up and go to work, and you know what you're going to accomplish today, and then one day you're going to quit working, and then who are you? Then what will you do? Sometimes I've even had to tell people, look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm not going to work for the money. I've accomplished those fears. I've put them aside. I'm going to work because I'm just not ready to retire. You all are on this journey. You see the blue line on this graph. The blue line says, you started your career, you grew in it, you hit a level of maturity. Probably if you're on this this communication right now, you're probably at that peak. You hit that level of maturity, and then there'll be that decline. For many of you, it'll be instant. It'll be called retirement, and it'll be a drop-off of that. What we find, and you see the notations at the bottom, this is called the sigmoid curve, to be technical for just a moment. And people that are successful in retirement, before they retire, begin to recreate themselves, hence this yellow line. They go through a process of self-discovery, figure out what they like, what they don't like, and they begin to grow in those other interests, so that when that time comes for retirement, you are stepping into that next life, and it's not all unknown. Some of it is actually known, and you can have great peace and no fear if you'll do that preparation work to prepare for retirement mentally, not only financially, but also mentally and emotionally.